I think, expectation, the market set it at 3.5. We thought this season was going to be a bit of a failure based on the hype and everybody talking about it. I think it's important that we react to this team being further along than we initially anticipated, but it's not to overreact. I still have a ton of questions about that offensive line. We saw at times where Sanders wanted to hold on to the ball a little bit longer and try to push something down the field. The offensive line started to show some cracks. A lot of this was quick read, get the ball out. There are going to be the defense still gave up a ton of points. There is a weakness there on that defensive line. I think there's going to be a weakness there on the offensive line when you play teams like Utah, like Oregon State, like Washington, like USC, who have a pulse defensively, all of them, and can put up massive points offensively. We're going to get a real kind of look, though, in this Nebraska game. I was right, though. Sanders, absolute stud. That was the thing with the Colorado talk. Nothing we said has been proven wrong just yet, outside of the TCU game evaluation, but the long term of Colorado. I said that Sanders was going to be a stud. I thought he may take a second to adjust a little bit. He's way further ahead, but he's going to be a stud. They have insane talent at the skill positions. The questions were around depth. Can Hunter play as many snaps as they're having him play throughout the entire season? I have my doubts there. I hope so. I hope this team is way better than expected because they're absolutely electric and just so much fun to watch. Like, I want to be wrong here, but I have questions about depth. I have questions about the offensive line and defensive line when they step up in class, because this Pac-12 is just loaded with tons of good offenses, better defensive lines. I mean, you're going to play a Utah team that is physical as hell. I mean, they bully some SEC teams at Utah defensively. Getting punched in the mouth, where that scheme's going to come from, development, depth, all those things are still huge question marks. And I think over the course of the season, my assessment still, this is a 4 to 5 win team, probably. So beating the 3.5 point expectation, we're going to say 3 to 5 range. They're somewhere in there. We'll see how this breaks. Depth is going to be a huge concern here, but we need to react, but not overreact from a betting standpoint. They're ahead of schedule, and that's exciting. Like, they're an exciting football team. This Colorado team, I hope I'm wrong, because like I said, they're going to be so much fun. Deion is awesome. It's going to work for Deion. I have no doubt in my mind there. It was just year one. How do they deal with failure when they see it? How do they deal with depth concerns? How do they grow as the season moves on? TCU is not the best litmus test for that. I mean, they lost a ton of players from the national championship team, and that team was a bit of a fluke. Their whole goal was, we just got to outscore you because we can't stop anything. And that has not changed this year. So let's see what this Nebraska team gives them. And I think that's a good starting place. Colorado versus Nebraska this week. The lines moved. Colorado is the favorite here in this game. And I think that's the right move, that they're the favorite. Nebraska is going to present a good assessment for where the line play is for Colorado. That's what I'm really looking for. Matt Rule, unfortunately for Nebraska, new coach, the more things change, the more things to stay the same. This team cannot close out games. I think what we saw, though, with Nebraska is Sims is going to kind of be that dual threat. Rule's got to help him progress in the passing game, but he's electric with his feet. I think the defense is going to be pretty strong again for Nebraska. This is going to be a competitive football team for games like this. Are they going to win the Big Ten? No. Are they going to compete near the top of it? No. This is another, just like Colorado, where the rebuild, it's going to take a year or two to get the guys in there. But I think this is a game where Colorado could be pushed a little bit, that they could face a little adversity. Let's see how they handle it. This is going to be an awesome game to watch from that standpoint. This is going to give us a better assessment as to where Colorado is, especially when they step in to the Pac-12 landscape. All right. The other game week one, I forgot to break down, LSU, FSU. I think, it stands exactly where we thought it was. The evaluation was correct there. Mike Norvell hit the transfer portal. He's hit the recruiting trail well. He's developed and gotten guys into that offense that allow them to be more multiple. He got some tight ends in there. They've got great weapons on the outside. Travis has been developed phenomenally. The defense is looking pretty good. And I think for LSU, it's there are some concerns. You were hoping JT Daniels would make that next leap. It doesn't appear right in the first game that that's the case, but it's a long season. We saw this with LSU last year. Played this game, and then they went on a tear, and they were an extremely good team by the end of the season. Let's see where they are. JT Daniels' best attribute, still his feet. That ability, to be a dual threat is critical to the success of this LSU team. I would like to see him be a little bit better in the passing game, to step up a little bit more in big moments there. But I'm not panicking yet. I think there are reasons to be optimistic about LSU. There's definitely reasons to be optimistic about FSU. These are two very good football teams, and they're going to be something to watch week to week from a betting standpoint. Let's talk about games this week, though. Let's start with Notre Dame, NC State. Line is at 7.5